Alrighty, it is currently Thursday, October 17, 2024. It is 1:57 p.m. This is a screen recording to provide ongoing analytical insight regarding the video that I just captured, which is going toward the prosecution of the state of California for engaging in what is a revealed secret system that the government in this country, but I am prosecuting the state of California, a public entity that's engaging in criminal surveillance. It's state surveillance. And I want to document again, it's currently, while the entity is monitoring evidence for which they're going to federal prison, 1:58 p.m., the ongoing amplification of noise while I'm capturing the specific environment. And this is the, what I'm speaking to right now as I'm narrating the pattern of conduct while the entity is monitoring evidence. This is exactly what is the substance of the documentation of ongoing harassment and terrorism as an entity, while demons who are very mentally ill and who are also violent sex offenders engaging in what is a very serious federal offense. This is criminal monitoring of evidence that's going to be submitted against the state. And this is what the entity is doing while they are witnessing their exposure. Very foolish conduct. And it's also going toward the damages that the people of the state. Holiday Inn is going to compensate the target individual whom they are criminally monitoring in concert with the demons who are stalking all around at the venue, which is Holiday Inn. This is the venue where you see at the top. And this is the purpose of the screen recording. All right, the ongoing amplified noise inside of this hotel room is audible activity, and it's occurring with regard to every physical movement that I make. And I want you to pay attention because this light source is relevant to what I'm stating right now and what I just documented in this video, 1:57 p.m. It's currently 1:59 p.m. But however, the ongoing amplified noise under this light source, which is not the sun, is Holiday Inn's ceaseless engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring. While Holiday Inn is checking in the demon possessed, these are third parties, into their whole hotel rooms, which is Holiday Inn's engagement in the state's pattern of conduct with intention under the light source and engineered light that's also inside of their building and also inside of my hotel room in the form of directed light, not sunlight. This is the placement of that engineered light and also the participation of the population who are sex offenders pacing all around on Palmdale Road. The sound of traffic is amplified also inside of my hotel room on impossible audible activity, amongst impossible light activity, amongst what is also an impossible occurrence creating this audible activity with simultaneity to what I physically do, including as I prosecute the entity for the sex offense that it's engaging in as a corrupt entity. Public corruption that's engaging in sexual violence is what is group stalking. Okay, and that's underway at Holiday Inn. While a demon who was group stalking in an adjacent room 425, if you want to be clear, who was group stalking in the ongoing amplified noise of hitting the wall while I am exposing him and everybody else who's going to federal prison for a massive sex offense that is going to be recognized under federal law in the United States. It is group stalking. Group stalking is underway by the government. And this is another screen recording to show you, for analytical purposes, as I started this video, what group stalking looks like in the environment where it is underway. And you will recognize the environment around you, because what I'm exposing is not a natural environment. It is impossible that this is the natural environment, as the natural environment has been taught to us. And for example, third grade science. Fourth grade, fifth grade science, how the natural environment works and also what it looks like. This is on its face, entirely unnatural. It's a scientific impossibility with regard to what is occurring in the environment as I document it. And everything that's occurring in that environment is also showing a pattern, while this scientific impossibility, the specific environment as I've referred to it, remains around me 24/7. That is day and night. This is where an entity in concert with the constituents of the state in California are engaging in what is referred to as group stalking, gang stalking, state organized stalking. What you need to know offhand immediately is that gang stalking, group stalking, as you refer to it, however it's referred to, it is group stalking as I refer to it, but this is demonic activity. Group stalking is not just a bunch of people that get together that hate someone and they just follow you around. Group stalking is a matter of demon possession. And while a public entity is engaged in group stalking, it is revealing what is massive demon possession throughout the state in order for what is a criminal act. That is demonic activity exposed, but it is a criminal act that the government is engaging in, and the government shall be prosecuted for practicing federal group stalking and monitoring, which is how I refer to it, because it is a violation of federal laws while the government is in fact stalking. And the government is also stalking in a malicious manner in concert with the constituents of the state who share the condition of being demon possessed and employing demonic behaviors. They are stalking you in an environment and keeping you under surveillance in the environment that is demonic itself. This is the crime that the state of California is engaging in. And it is shown through what is a specific environment through yet another screen recording. I will show you while the entity specifically, the Captain Randy German, his days as a terrorist leader are over. I documented him and that entire department group stalking via helicopter, and I will review that video so you know exactly what it is, because everything that I mention and everything that I describe is supported with facts, including demon possession, the demonic behavior patterns, and this screen recording showing an environment that is a scientific impossibility to, in other words, it cannot naturally exist. In other words, there is something supernatural underway in order for me to be able to capture this environment that I am not photoshopping, I am not manufacturing, I can't make it up, I don't control it. All I'm doing is pointing my camera up at it to capture it on video in order to show you how Satan is using a government to engage in targeting. All right. And this is also revealing to you, those who are in the United States at least, we are governed by a constitution. We are empowered with a Bill of Rights, constitutional rights, with the government is actually in violation of them, while we are under right now a surveillance state. We are all under surveillance, and I am prosecuting the state of California because while this surveillance system is underway, the reason why I am able to speak to it is because this is exposing, since the entity targeted me, this is now exposing the government who's engaging in a surveillance system throughout this country, which you know through the specific environment that surrounds you. And the entity is engaging in the surveillance system while I am being criminally targeted. The entity sought to murder and kidnap me while keeping me criminally under surveillance. There is no warrant or probable cause that empowers the government to do what it is doing. And the evidence, that is the P.O.C., which is what I have published for the world to witness, is that which is going to prosecute the state of California, a public entity that's engaging in a crime committed against me. And the government cannot do it by itself. The government also is being broken down. This illusion that there's a separation between the people and the state is an illusion where group stalking is underway, where a surveillance system is underway. The surveillance system is demonic. The demon possessed are both the constituents of the state who are masquerading as free citizens and the government itself who's masquerading as an authorized authoritative figure whom the people, we are, and I not mean the people of the state who are the demons who are group stalking. I mean, in a free society that is constitutionally governed, I and the rest of the people are one aspect, one entity under the Constitution, and we're protected by the Constitution. We have consented to the government to exercise authority over us, which we have consented to. We have not consented to state surveillance. We don't even, you know now, but we do not know that as surveillance is currently underway, you are still under the illusion, the farce that's underway in this country, that we have privacy, that we have constitutional rights, that there is actually a criminal justice system that is in operation with regard to your maintaining the ongoing mind conditioning that there are laws that the government is governed by and that we are also protected by. And that's how this system is working. That's all an illusion. And the system of surveillance that you are aware of based on the environment, which is revealing the demonic, which is the nature of the surveillance system, which is revealing a criminal system that the government is engaging in against me. And I'm going to prosecute the government for it. It is the P.O.C. The P.O.C. is also a testimony regarding what the Lord Jesus Christ is revealing. And it is the fact of the reality of your enemy. His name is Satan, and Satan is a spirit. Satan is literally has the government, the state of California, because I'm in California, so I'm prosecuting the state of California. And I'm prosecuting the state of California for violating my constitutional human rights, keeping me under surveillance. And this is shown as a very specific pattern of conduct that's occurring in the specific environment as I have referred to it, because it's not a natural environment. It is entirely impossible. It's a scientific impossibility that the natural environment that is also supposedly surrounding you is remaining over me as I'm documenting it day by day, hour by hour, day and night. And in this specific environment, there is a behavioral pattern that is employed by the constituents of the state who want to be looked at, necessarily so, as separate from the government, as you see them in the court system, as you see them representing law enforcement, as you see them practicing law in the courts. Okay, this is an illusion with regard to the surveillance state. Satan is using the government to engage in what is this surveillance system in concert with the very constituents of the state, who Satan is using together to target other citizens like myself who are actually being isolated. You're being ostracized with regard to being targeted while amongst the surveillance system. In other words, I stand out. I am not of the same condition. I don't serve Satan. I'm not demon possessed. That's also why, by the way, a house divided cannot stand. If I was of the same condition, I would not be telling all of Satan's tactics and all of Satan's tricks and all of Satan's methods. Okay? And that's just an illusion that some demon possessed person, some minion, is going to spout out. But that's a lie. Okay? And no demon, no true camp in Satan's army is speaking about what Satan is doing. That's just not how it works. It does not work like that. Okay? I serve the Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm going to speak, and I will continue to speak the truth about the reality of what Satan is doing and how he has deceived who I'm prosecuting, the people of the state. But the greater picture is how Satan has deceived the masses, what's going on in this world. And it's going to manifest itself in a prosecution, but it's also simultaneously exposing the massive deception that people have succumbed to. And this is a form of judgment with regard to revealing the secrets that a government has, regarding the secrets that a society has. And it's exposing the shameful secrets of a state. And I want to be clear, the people that are living in the neighborhood, that are occupying, that are working at this hotel, that then go home to their families that are living throughout the state of California, their secrets are being exposed while I'm prosecuting what is federal group stalking and monitoring. Massive demon possession. And demon possession has a real life effect on a human being, and it robs you of your right mind. You are out of your mind while you are demon possessed. You are, in fact, mentally ill, which is not being diagnosed. And this mental illness is also supported. It's not hyperbolic commentary. This is by virtue of the documentation, facts, revealing what is the pattern of conduct, which is group stalking that the entity that is demon possessed is engaging in. It is revealing what is closeted mental illness. It is revealing what is closeted sexual violence by those who, by the way, do not currently have a criminal record for example. This is exposing public corruption, and the entities engaging in what is criminal conduct on a day-to-day basis while masquerading as a civilized society. This is not a part of what is the calculated so-called crime rates. The babysitter, the doctor, and the housewife, the homemaker, if you will, that's group stalking in California and does not have a criminal record and is literally a sex offender engaging in group stalking with the state and literally poses the risk. These are the likes of those that are being reported on the news as engaging in sexual violence amongst those under the age of majority. And I use this example heavily because this is what's occurring all the time. There's been no symptoms of any threat to minor children. That's why they were working amongst the teenagers at the nearby high school. That's why they were working at the middle school. That's why they were working at the preschool amongst the kindergartners. And they don't have an existing criminal record. And they're being charged with egregious crimes against minor children, or there's some sort of rapist. They're engaged in some sort of perverted criminal act under natural law, by the way. But there are plenty of signs. There are plenty indicators regarding what Satan is engaging in and what Satan has been engaged in for a long time. Those that engage in so-called purportedly senseless acts of violence. There is a condition, and it is demon possession. Satan has control over people who, but they exercise the right of free will. Satan is not robbing you of your free will in the same way that the Lord Jesus Christ is not robbing you of your free will. Insofar as you have the choice to accept the free gift of salvation, which will save your natural mind, by the way. All right. The entity is engaging in what is a pattern of conduct that is a product of demon possession. And it is also simultaneously exposing. It's a public service announcement, by the way. This is free. You're able to recognize by virtue of exposing this criminal system, which is speaking to and revealing demon possession, a condition that people do not want you to know about. The government does not want you to know about. Satan certainly does not want you to be aware of or be able to discern or identify even through human beings' behavior in the specific environment, which you can recognize with your own eyes and ears around you. Not to create any sense of fear, because that's not what the Lord Jesus is speaking or spreading. He is giving you information for your own protection, for your own wisdom to walk prudently in these times. The demon possessed are currently walking around without a criminal record. These are walking, ticking time bombs. They are currently engaging in sexual violence. They are the same ones that are engaging in sexual violence amongst men and women, those under the age of majority, amongst minor children, and doing so in a way that is threatening them, that is maliciously designed to keep them silent, to oppress them. This is the type of mindset behind the group stalker. The pattern of conduct is revealing those that are predisposed, in other words, like I continue to speak of, those that are predisposed, that are inclined, in other words, to engage in sexual violence. Sex with teenage kids, engage in sexual violence, engaging in sex trafficking of minors, those that engage in all manner of sexual perversion. There are indicators, there's a lot of hints regarding what those that currently don't have criminal records, which is what we focus on the flesh, are focusing on. Well, you don't have a criminal record for being a sex offender. And I understand that, and the ordinary, a reasonable person can understand that, because you're a human being, and if you have not placed your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, you do not have any sense of discernment. You're walking around relying on the flesh, relying on the carnal man, relying on what's being reported to you on the news, even when they're lying to you, keeping you in what is a tunnel mindset, and not walking in the wisdom that is provided to you, access to information that you can have, which the enemy does not want you to have access to. Now, what is it that I'm speaking to? The group stalker is a violent sex offender, and the group stalker is masquerading as those that are sitting on benches. They're wearing badges, a part of law enforcement. They're engaging in what is group stalking in the state of California, while having any job, working in any industry. The state of California is a group stalker. A group stalker is a violent sex offender, and they are predisposed. They are inclined to engage in sexual violence that you readily identify right now before you learn about group stalking. All right. Would you recognize having sex with those under the age of majority, an adult? Violating the consent of a child. A child cannot give consent, and no grown person should be having sex or any sexual contact with a child or with a teenager. I recognize those as children still, but if you want to make some distinctions, somebody that's 14 or 15, their gym teacher having sex with them, their gym teacher taking pictures of them, their gym teacher keeping them under surveillance in a bathroom, the group stalker is inclined to do this. This is exactly what the group stalker is predisposed to engage in. And the group stalker is currently working for the local police department. The group stalker is working at Starbucks. The group stalker is the president of the Ontario International Airport. The group stalker is sitting on the city council. They call themselves the mayor, and they're group stalking in the state of California. These are the ticking time bombs that are violent sex offenders. And they are they are also the demon possessed, masquerading as something during the day on social media and on television, presenting themselves as one way. And group stalking is revealing a system that's underway in California, speaking about the secrets that they certainly don't want that to be discussed. They certainly don't want their name included, but they are inevitably included in what the state is engaging in, while I am showing you evidence regarding the pattern of conduct. Now, I'm going to digress there. I'm going to show you the specific environment. All of that is behind a demon that's group stalking me at Holiday Inn, and the ongoing amplified noise of sounding of beating a noise through the walls, while the fake sun is over my hotel room, a scientific impossibility, and engineer light fills my hotel room. That is, by the way, intent to engage in the criminal elements of monitoring. The population, group stalking on Palmdale Road, are knowingly and intentionally and ceaselessly engaging in that massive sex offense. They are the same population that are the ticking time bombs that are very much posing a threat to minor children, having sex with them, sex trafficking them, kidnapping them, murdering them, engaging in what is harm against themselves and each other. Those are the demon possessed who are group stalking. And it's not based on their ability to identify the threat that they are themselves. They're not engaging in any self-reflection. They serve Satan, and they're engaging in lawlessness while doing so. That's what motivates a person, by the way, to crawl into a helicopter and stalk and terrorize a woman like you see on video for years, not just last night, which Randy German has no longer any job with any law enforcement agency, because I'm going to prosecute him and the entire Victorville Police Department. That's what motivates that sort of terrorism. That's the sex offender that is a group stalker. That is the one that is representing a population who's engaged in this criminal act throughout the state of California, which evidence supports. Exposing demon possession, the reality of the arch enemy of your soul, Satan himself, who is a spirit, who needs people, he needs bodies, and he has the government, he has the population in California in a chokehold. Okay? He owns them. And they are serving him to their own demise. Now their secrets and their criminal system is being fully exposed, and they deserve it. I'm documenting impunity, I'm documenting malice, and there will be time spent in federal prison for it. There will be loss of companies, loss of profits that are being made on my life while you're group stalking. And that whole system surrounds that entity while it continuously acts, revealing the mental illness of those who are very much posing a threat to society in this country and in the world, okay? Because you're learning about it. The specific environment is not limited to the U.S., wherever it is that you're listening, okay? I just happen to be in Southern California. The Lord Jesus is telling you about what's around you wherever you are. Because there's a sun, the natural environment, speaking to the specific environment that I'm revealing, it's revealing what's going on around you. The threat that Satan is posing amongst those that surround you wherever you're at. And this is not to spread fear. This is to inform. If you do not know the Lord Jesus Christ, that's where you need to start. That's where you need to start. Because the Holy Spirit, he is the one that guards against the strong man. That's Satan. The Lord God himself seals us and protects us. He's the one that gives us divine messages for our own protection. For our own protection, walking in obedience to his word, anticipating the things that he has said that are coming. And we need not fear those who know him. There's nothing to fear. You are witnessing the triumphant victory of a child of God while I'm prosecuting the state of California. This is victory given unto me, not my doing, but his doing, for his name's sake. All right, so I want to make sure that you're understanding what you're looking at right now. This is the specific environment. What's captured on the bottom and what's captured on the top. This is revealing the specific environment where I'm subject to group stalking at third-party facilitating venue, Holiday Inn, at 15494 Palmdale Road in Victorville, California. The specific environment is revealing everybody else, not just Holiday Inn, who's going to be civilly and criminally prosecuted, but everybody else in the city of Victorville, throughout the state of California, in other words, who is group stalking, by the exclusivity that the entity is communicating with regard to maintaining the specific environment around me. And all I'm doing is showing the ongoing analytical purposes of showing the environment where group stalking is underway. It is public corruption exposed, and it's also exposing demon possession. Those who are group stalking, it's very exclusive with regard to the condition. Demons are monitoring. It is very exclusive. It's not just some random person that's just saying, oh, even if they were to concede, okay, yes, I was engaged in surveillance, they want to refer to it in natural terms. Oh, yeah, I was engaged in the corrupt system of surveillance. But, they don't want to acknowledge the spiritual realities. The demon possessed are monitoring. These are monitoring spirits that occupy vessels. They are legally referred to as the people of the state and the state of California. This is a demon-possessed entity that's group stalking. Group stalking is demonic activity. We will refer to it in the courts. We will refer to it in federal legislation with regard to such terms. It is state surveillance. It is illegal. It is criminal. It is unlawful. Okay? All right? It is unethical. It is all of those things. But do not miss the truth. These are demons who are engaging in group stalking, demonic behaviors. It is unmistakable. The entity is doing so in the specific environment. On the video, these are two videos that I'm juxtaposing. At 1:46 p.m., the video ends at 1:48 p.m. And what I captured today, which is at Holiday Inn, a third-party facilitating venue. And what you see in the background, let's hone in on the background. All of the entity is group stalking everyone else in relevant position. This is massive surveillance. This is group stalking by a population, okay? In relevant position, Legends, the gym, where they're over there lifting weights, they're group stalking. That's criminal surveillance that a commercial actor is engaging in. They're going to be prosecuted as well while I'm documenting the pattern of conduct while I remain inside a Holiday Inn, where you see the light source over my window at this hotel, which is under no circumstances creating any sunlight inside of the hotel room on the floor, just like I documented. It is indeed the specific environment, and a population is going to be prosecuted for the sex offense it is engaging in, and is also informing the rest of the nation. They will be documented as domestic terrorists in this country so that everyone else is aware and put on notice regarding the sexual violence, regarding the acts of violence that the demon-possessed pose. And you are not without warning. You are not without any sort of symptoms regarding the ticking time bombs who are the entity who are engaged in group stalking. They are the ones that are having sex with teenage kids, having sex with minor children, engaging in child porn, distributing child porn, engaging in kidnapping, engaging in acts of violence among the public for no reason whatsoever, killing their own families. All right. This is the demons who are group stalking, who are proudly engaging in what is group stalking amongst amplification. If you didn't hear the traffic outside, an impossible audible occurrence. They are proudly engaging in it, and they will be prosecuted as the demon-possessed, mentally ill sex offenders that they are, the state of California. All right, the entity's doing so while I am in the specific environment, and this is exactly what I documented. So you're going to look at what it is I documented. All right, this is impossible light activity, just so you can see appearing in the shade. Okay, the Ontario International Airport is stalking in planes right now. That's called amplified audible activity and crossing in path. Clearly, nowhere near Terminal 2, Terminal 4, nor would it be heard. In the ways that I'm documenting, amplification is a demonic means of audible activity, and it's criminally facilitating a community, a bunch of people, in other words, to group stalk you. And this is a supernatural occurrence as well, not only amplification, not only my shadow in front of me. That is the light source that's over me at 408 West G Street in Ontario, California. I am standing in front of the door, apartment number 51, okay, where the group stalker Tracy Banks is engaging in group stalking in concert with the rest of the people of the state that live at this senior citizen community. There are, in other words, no age restriction with regard to demon possession, and legally, which also follows the law, no one is above it, including this demon that's over this corrupt law enforcement agency. It's a terrorist organization. That's what's exposed about it. The Victorville Police Department, which is the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Randy German, this is a demon. And this is a closeted sex offender, a closeted psychopath, and that's why this criminal pattern of conduct is underway amongst those demons working for that terrorist organization, who are group stalking, by the way, in relevant position, the whole department, the facility itself. They are group stalking, and they're witnessing, listening to everything that I'm stating, monitoring with these demons who are the people of the state as I document them. That's not going to be missed at their prosecution. They are the state of California, and they're also demon possessed. I am prosecuting, and I'm also exposing secrets at the same time. The entity is keeping a light source over Woodside Senior Apartments. That is not over the hotel room window in Victorville, California at 15494 Palmdale Road, where demons are group stalking by virtue of amplification, admitting that you're a demon and that you're a stalker, and also that you're doing so with impunity. That's legally relevant to how long you're going to sit in federal prison, okay? To how much those damages are going to be enhanced with the intent to penalize, to punish, and deter. Okay, the entities engaged in this pattern of conduct. I'm showing you the light source that's over me in Ontario, California, Woodside Senior Apartments, where, by the way, the documentation on video and images shows the light source rising, remaining stationary at the Woodside Senior Apartments, which is within the P.O.C, the specific environment. Remember, before Woodside Senior Apartments, I'm living and working in L.A., where the Los Angeles Police Department, a terrorist organization, is group stalking, employing helicopters, just like Randy German and the demons of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department like to engage in. They foolishly do so on video to their own demise because I'm going to prosecute them and the entire state of California. And I'm also going to speak worldwide regarding what is demon possession, the ability to recognize public corruption amongst the demons who are masquerading as law enforcement agencies in the United States, having no authority under the Constitution. The entity is doing so in a specific environment, and that which is over Woodside Senior Apartments, as I'm standing in front of apartment number 51, is not over, as contrary to what you see outside of my hotel room window in Victorville, California, at the Palmdale Holiday Inn. Okay, everybody group stalking on Palmdale Road is monitoring me, and the ongoing movement presence. I mean, by working at the venue, this is criminal surveillance by a population, and this is a violent sex offender that are the people of the state, keeping a woman under surveillance, monitoring her while her genitalia is exposed, while my panties are down, while I'm in the shower. Oh, it's public information amongst all these demons, all of them together. All right, they're group stalking. Those are the violent sex offenders proudly engaging in group stalking while amplified audible activity under a fake sun. Those are the demons. Those are the mentally ill. Okay, because there's nothing that is to be proud of when you are exposed as a group stalker who also is in need of deliverance. That's Satan that is showing that sort of proud behavior. But that is also going to be addressed at prosecution. That's going to translate. It's going to convert into federal crimes. All right. The entity's engaging in this pattern of conduct in the specific environment, and you're looking at the time. All right. Not only are we in two distinctly different locations where the sun is not possibly in the same manner over the top of my head, but it's also the exact same time. And this is showing the ongoing ability to prosecute the state for group stalking you through and employing the demonic to do it. They are intentionally in that environment. They are intentionally creating activity, which is the demonic system of federal group stalking and monitoring. The heights of malice, which is designed to result in the murder and kidnapping of an American citizen. Even at the loss of life, which is a murder by an entity that is targeting you, the entity seeks to defame that targeted individual, will assign your loss of life to suicide due to your mental illness, or suicide. And mental illness can be by maybe you were claiming before you were murdered the fact that strangers were stalking you. And the entity that is demon possessed this is Satan himself, the father of lies, using the demon possessed, will utter lies about your character while they are in every regard, which evidence now supports and proves they are in fact stalking you. They know exactly who you are while they have the spirit of Satan on them. That's why strangers are in fact stalking, targeting American citizens, a population. That's what's wrong with the average housewife in the state of California. Group stalking, sex offenders, having newborn babies. Group stalking me. It's on video. I've captured it before. Okay? Violent sex offenders who are a threat, in fact, to the public, as opposed to the sympathetic posture, appearance, image that they want to represent on my videos. Group stalking me and all of the specific environment directly rebuts what Satan wants to be the image, which you are not focused merely on the carnal. You are looking at the demonic. And regardless of the fact that this evidence, tangible evidence to be submitted in a federal court to prosecute a corrupt entity, the fact that the nature of that evidence is demonic makes it no less probative, makes it no less evidence that is proving criminal conduct amongst an entity. The demonic nature is showing what is malice of a corrupt entity that's out here murdering American citizens and then defaming to the very end, which relies only for this to occur, and for this to have occurred for so long. It is relying on a corrupt system at every level of government. It's relying on it. It needs it. It requires. It is a prerequisite that the demons are in the courts. The demons are with the sheriff's departments. The demons are of the police departments. The demons are the very people, the constituents of the state. The demons are those that are of the government bodies, the council members, the mayors, those that are working with the very corrupt departments that are engaging in this pattern of conduct. It requires it at all levels. It's impossible that this is occurring amongst an entity, the links to which it's going, absent what is necessarily cooperative facilitation is what it's legally referred to as. It is impossible that this system can exist or secretly continue absent such criminal facilitation. That is how federal group stalking and monitoring is exposing all levels of government engaging in this criminal system. It is exposing, in fact, massive public corruption by demons who are holding positions that they are unfit and disqualified to hold. By virtue, by the way, of the fact that this massive criminal system is occurring on their watch. It is beyond mere dereliction of duty, which is sufficient to have you impeached. It is sufficient to have you removed. All right. The entity is maintaining this light source, and this is what I'm documenting inside of my hotel room.
Currently 1:48 p.m. You'll see the images that I took of what is engineered light, impossible light activity, both on the placement of the light source on the outside of a building where the sun is above us. On the outside of buildings, the sun's not inside of the building. The sun projects light at a downward trajectory, which would create shade inside of the building. What you're looking at is impossible light activity, and it's the shape of the triangular shape. While engineered light is necessarily coming down at a downward trajectory and necessarily horizontally inside of the downward trajectory. That's how you get impossible light activity that is concentrated. All right, this is light that's being in. This is not sunlight. And this is distinct from what is the light source, the evidence that Holiday Inn is group stalking here in Victorville. You already know that because I'm standing underneath street lamps and I had 3 shadows that were moving all around my person. That's not the light activity. That is the
And I will remind you about that, what it is that I'm referencing, where the entity was terrorizing me by helicopter last night.
This is stalking in the path with
and this was at the same venue, Holiday Inn, and everybody that works at Holiday Inn is going to federal prison.
Alrighty, this is the entity that is group stalking by helicopter.
The same venue where the fake sun, that is the crime scene, recognizes the crime scene of federal group stalking and monitoring during the day. And at night, when you're standing under artificial light where your shadow is not going to surround you, your shadow is not going to be perpendicular, your shadow is not going to be jumping in front and behind you. This is where the entity is group stalking at Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn at Palmdale Road where the fake sun was over the same hotel. This is the hallmark of stalking in the path. And those are demons. And that's group stalking by the state. And this is stalking in the path. That's 1 shadow. That's 2 shadows. This is 3 shadows. That's a demon that's stalking. Okay? And so is this one, 99595R1. Stalking in the path with light activity, that's federal prison.
That third party is going to federal prison. They're group stalking with Randy German and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. And so are the demons right now. And at 2:31 p.m., ongoing amplified noise is heard in the hallway on the fourth floor inside of this hotel under the fake sun and engineered light that fills that hallway. That's also captured on video. While these demons, who are criminals engaging in an ongoing conspiracy with the state to murder and kidnap an American citizen, are still monitoring evidence and doing so with the criminal intent to harass and terrorize. This is the substance of the document that is entitled Holiday Inn - the People, and that's why they're all going to federal prison. They are in real time right now, 2:31, monitoring evidence. That's a federal no-no by the government, which Holiday Inn represents, and they're also doing so with the criminal intent to harass and terrorize. That's what demons do while they know what you're doing on a communication device. And you also know that, what they know, and you also know that they are also engaged in criminal conduct because of the maintenance of a fake sun that is not possibly over Woodside Senior Apartments, and also because of the hallmark that the entity is group stalking by helicopter over this Holiday Inn where my shadow is surrounding my person, the terrorizing environment. They're all going to federal prison while the entity is also at 2:32 p.m. under the fake sun sounding sirens, okay?
All right, that's the state. This is the state also. Federal stalking. P.O.C.
That third party in that vehicle is stalking in the path. That's a demon. That's a sex offender. That's a psychopath. The demon possessed engage in this obsessive endeavor to stalk in the path with light. They are also sex offenders inclined to engage in sexual violence in ways that you are currently affiliated or I don't want to say affiliated with. You should not be a sex offender. That you are currently familiar with. Everyone recognizes that a sex offender has sex with 14-year-old girls and boys. Okay? Everyone knows that a sex offender rapes men and women without their consent, involuntarily. Okay, everyone knows that a sex offender molests minor children. The sex offender's predatory mind state, the objective is to molest me and to follow and pursue, group stalk me, in other words, with the demons that are sounding sirens right now at what was 2:32 p.m. under the fake sun while they're monitoring evidence. Randy German is going to be dealt with. They're also in the San Bernardino County Probation Department. That's the state as well. They're group stalking together while a bunch of demons are being exposed, and the impunity is duly noted by the federal government, who is going to be punishing these demons by department name and by individual names. The entity is group stalking while the entity is maintaining light activity in the path. These are sex offenders. These are psychopaths. These are demons sitting in a dark parking lot in the engineered environment, stalking in the path with light. That's the significance of the demons who I document by license plate, who are engaging in that act of terrorism. Group stalkers are doing this everywhere. Their headlights are not the engineered light that's piercing, molesting my person while they're even at a distance away, aiming headlights in my direction. These are demons who are stalking in the path with engineered light. Okay, and that's what they're doing in this video. And those who are working at Holiday Inn, they're going to federal prison. They're also going to federal prison with the demons that are in the parking lot that I documented in this video.
Stalking with the state that uses helicopters while they're keeping under surveillance also in a hotel room is the basis of federal prison, and that's where he's going. This is a white male in operation of a communication device, group stalking with the state that uses helicopters to engage in terrorism and psychological torture, while they're also group stalking with the entity engaging in what is a method of light activity, stalking in the parking lot. 9NLF204, and they were group stalking the whole time. I want you to pay attention.
This is how the demon possessed engage in surveillance. They engage in what is presence in the path. They're always maintaining a method of light activity in the path. They're doing so, and what is relevant is that they're doing it in an environment that is engineered. It's not the natural environment. That's the significance of maintaining light. That's the significance of maintaining light activities such as flashing of lights, as you've seen that. The entity does so with hazard lights. The entity does so with the demons that use their police, fire, and ambulance light. Those are demons stalking in the path in the engineered environment. You will recognize the specific environment. You will recognize demons who are exhibiting demon possession right before your eyes, while they're also engaging in criminal activity right before your eyes. They're group stalking. All right. And the unfathomable methods. A group stalker that's calling themselves a firefighter, a group stalker that's calling themselves a police officer, a group stalker that's calling themselves an EMT. That's entirely pathetic, by the way. And it's also at the same time very terrorizing. All right. The entity is exhibiting great malice while they employ helicopters, and those same fools just sounded sirens. Everybody's going to federal prison, and every single demon affiliated with Randy German's Victorville Police Department, they will all be prosecuted for state surveillance. They're all going to be prosecuted for federal stalking and criminal obstruction of justice, which, by the way, is the basis of federal prison. Every single last federal charge that I just referenced. It's also relevant to impunity. While they're monitoring, and they are monitoring evidence while they sound sirens, there's no genuine emergency in the specific environment. The people of the state and the state itself are group stalking as one. And you know that because the entity is group stalking under the fake sun that remains over my hotel room, which is a
Right, it is
scientific
currently
impossibility.
1:48 p.m.
This is where the entity is sounding sirens, group stalking amongst the demons, amplification of traffic. That's what the people of the state do. Amplification of sirens. That's what the state does directly. All right, and they are both ends. That system is imploding, and the people of the state are going to federal prison, and the state also that acts directly is going to federal prison. All right, this light source that you see above my hotel room is not the sun that's going to be over Woodside Senior Apartments at the same time, also in the same manner, nor is it going to create this light activity that's occurring in the sand.
A bunch of people, in other words, two groups.
That's not sunlight. All right, and you're looking at a pattern. The impulsive
the
light
images
activity
that I
that's
took of-
inside of my hotel, because the same follows that if that's the sun over Woodside Senior Apartments.
While engineered light is necessarily coming down at a downward trajectory and necessarily horizontally inside at a downward trajectory. That's how you get impossible light activity that is concentrated. All right, this is light that's being in. This is not sunlight. And this.
All right, there's no sunlight that's ever going to occur in this manner. You will recognize what is engineered light that's inside of wherever it is that you live, inside of the buildings, with regard to what it's not even sunlight. The character of the light is engineered. All right, I have documented engineered light, also dynamic engineered light, where the same demons who are using sirens to group stalk an American citizen who was prosecuting them, very foolish and very imprudent. Those are the sex offenders that like to masquerade as police officers and firefighters and EMTs, and they will be dealt with at their federal prosecution. They are group stalking with the people of the state whom they are in no position to protect. They further incriminate them by group stalking in helicopters and engaging in criminal summoning, for which the people of the state are also going to federal prison. They are demon possessed alike, pacing in the hallway, beating on walls and doors and slamming doors, group stalking in hotel rooms, which is absolutely psychotic, and it's also an exceedingly violent sex offense to keep a woman under surveillance, and all manner of my personal and private conduct inside of this hotel room is public information amongst a bunch of obsessed demons who are violent sex offenders, inclined, by the way, to engage in sexual violence that you already recognize, such as violating the rights of another and raping them, engaging in molesting and violating minor children, having sex with girls and boys under the age of majority. That is exactly what the group stalker is inclined to do. That is, by the way, who is engaging in this criminal conduct. As you see the news reported to you in California and across this country, you know who's engaging in these acts of violence, who's engaging in these sexual acts of criminal conduct. It's the people of the state, the demon possessed. Okay, the entities engage in a very specific pattern of conduct. This is the same population who you also know, they're the ones that are accountable for the crime rate. It's the people of the state, and there are many of them that are a part of this criminal system don't yet have a criminal record. Like the housewife that's married to the doctor who's group stalking at the Hesperia Health Center, right? Where the fake sun is remaining over me while I'm driving past that facilitating venue. That's the P.O.C. in the state of California. And there is no respecter of persons. You are capable of identifying it unmistakably in that specific environment where a behavioral pattern by demons are underway. And you now know the behavior of those demons who are targeting someone together. And it's also serving for a massive, epic, and historic prosecution of the state of California, an entity that shall be prosecuted as a sex offender, as a domestic terrorist. All right, the entity is maintaining this specific environment, and this is where the entity is
distinct from what is the light source. The
group stalking during the day, all right, under the light source, engineer light, and this is exactly what they're doing at nightfall outside of my window, group stalking.
This is stalking in the path with light. This is a sex offender, and this is the obsessed group stalking pattern of conduct. This is a demon that's in perfect alignment with my room, stalking in the path, in the parking lot, in the specific environment, maintaining a method of light activity. Turn the lights on and off is light activity. And this is a sex offender that also knows that they're on video, which is why they're now getting out of the vehicle, which is still monitoring in the path.
This is a demon that's keeping me under surveillance, just like they are now, exhibiting a demon possession, stalking with amplified noise inside of the room. The fake sun is over the venue. This is how the demon possessed are doing so at nightfall. The ominous method of stalking in the path with light. And the headlights is how a demon is hiding in plain sight. The headlights are not the engineered light that's molesting at a great distance. These are demons who are engaging in the same thing under the fake sun during the day, stalking in the path amongst engineered light. And it's also not the sun that's remaining over me, while demons, a population, are stalking in the path. This demon is engaging in surveillance. I want to be clear. This is the documentation of an exposed sex offender. They then go into their hotel room where they're group stalking with the business, the corrupt business who's going to be prosecuted. Holiday Inn is also a sex offender. okay, who's going to be prosecuted, facilitating sexual violence amongst the population who's checking out rooms in Holiday Inn, and sex offenders like this are filling the hotel all around me, group stalking. Inside of the hotel, impossible light activity. That is, by the way, the intent to maintain noise. That's called audible activity and engineered light. We're standing under artificial light does not create your upright shadow beside each other. Double shadows upright in front of you, that's where demons are pacing in the path, okay? The amplification of hotel room doors, like the demon just did at 2:41 p.m. Everyone's credit card numbers, everyone's IDs are being provided, and the entire entity is going to be prosecuted at yet another venue who's engaged in state surveillance. The perpetration by an entity engaging in a perpetual sex offense. A population doesn't want to be known that they're keeping a woman under surveillance in a hotel room. And you know what the mentally ill react with? They show their mental illness while psychopaths are hostile to their sexual violence being made known. That's their mental illness manifest. You're also mentally ill group stalking. Okay, stalking in a dark parking lot with light activity while you're monitoring somebody, that's a demon-possessed person whose mental illness is manifest. Group stalking an American citizen by using a helicopter to terrorize them, that's a demon-possessed group stalker who's mentally ill. And that mental illness is manifest. Okay, the entity is pacing in and out of hotel room doors at 2:42. They use key cards to do so. Maddie, Alfredo, and Ray are going to federal prison, and every other employee who is criminally facilitating terrorism and harassment as the entity who's group stalking and engineered light in this hotel, where right now, as I document that, the demons are on camera pacing in and out of their hotel rooms. Those are the sex offenders. Those are the criminals. Those are the terrorists who are group stalking as one. Okay?
And here you go. I just want you to see as your shadow travels across where it is behind you and moving up in front of you, up around the wall, and behind you on this side also. And on this side as well. This is a shadow.
All right, and at what is, I want you to be clear, 2:43 p.m., this is the substance of what I'm maintaining documentation of: ongoing harassment and terrorism of the violent sex offenders who are the people of the state, checking out hotel rooms with Holiday Inn, a corporate actor who is going to be prosecuted as a sex offender and a terrorist, group stalking with the state, who's engaged in criminal summoning, the state's group stalking outside of the hotel, sounding sirens, the state's group stalking in the hotel room. These are demons, and these are the mentally ill who pace around and engineer light that fill this hotel room. And as I document that, they are accessing the rooms with key cards, pacing in and out. The door closure is audible activity and engineered light. They are monitoring while they do so. They're also doing so, sex offenders, while my panties are down. That's what these sex offenders are gratified by. They're obsessed with my genitalia. They're obsessed with me. That's why they're group stalking by checking out a hotel room. They're group stalking, which is why they sit in the middle of the parking lot in perfect alignment with my hotel room.
This is stalking.
They're group stalking and obsessed with everything that I do, including as sex offenders. As I touch my cell phone, so a demon slams the hotel room door. That's a demon that's stalking with activity. That's a federal offense. The entity is engaging in what is amplified audible activity and doing so in the facilitating venue, where you will not forget the fake sun is directly over this venue. All right, and that's the purpose of slamming hotel room doors while impossible light activities on the floor inside of this hotel, not sunlight, while it's remaining over Woodside Senior Apartments at the same exact time, while you have impossible light activity filling that hotel, while demons are psychopaths and violent sex offenders obsessed with my nude body, obsessed with my genitalia, listening to everything that's occurring inside of this hotel room, which is by definition sexual violence, that Holiday Inn's engaging in, that every demon-possessed group stalker checking out the hotel room is engaged in, that the state of California, including Randy German, and the entire Victorville Police Department are engaging in concert with the state of California. It is exposed demon possession, which is exposing closeted mental illness, closeted sex offenders, which is no longer a secret while they're group stalking me. It is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring. And there is nothing that is shared with regard to the sun that's over this apartment, that while I'm standing in front of apartment number 51, and that which is directly over my head inside of this hotel, where demons are pacing all around showing impunity and malice. And the federal judge is going to sentence this entity, and is going to sentence the demons who are group stalking, including the employees and the demon-possessed patrons, maliciously engaged in the state's unintelligent pattern of conduct. They're group stalking. They're all going to federal prison. Okay? They engage in sexual violence together as one. Their license plates are documented on podcasts. Their images and their voices, their criminal conduct is being documented on the document entitled the Holiday Inn dash the people, and it is in conformity to a pattern of conduct going all the way back to the Los Angeles Police Department at Alvarado Gardens. That is impossible with regard to the pattern of behavior amongst a bunch of strangers, but that is the state's P.O.C., and that's why everybody is going to federal prison, just like I said. While the entity is engaging in what is demonic pacing and audible activity, monitoring a woman inside of a hotel room, which is a federal offense, acting in furtherance of the conspiracy to murder and kidnap someone, the entity does so with impunity, and they've been granted access to these hotel rooms by the third party, Holiday Inn, who is going to federal prison, who is also going to be subject to civil prosecution. They're doing so with intention, which is why this light source, and that's why the impossible light activity fills the hallway, which is not the product of artificial light. This is indeed a corrupt business that is maliciously engaged in the pattern of conduct while profiting off of my demise, which is not going to be accomplished. Holiday Inn has sacrificed its own business. Holiday Inn employees have sacrificed their own freedom. The people of the state have sacrificed their own record. They will be published and maintained by the DOJ as domestic terrorists at yet another venue, in concert with the rest of the population, by the way. Who else is being documented? Everybody else in relevant position. You see them group stalking in the distance? Everybody in relevant position. The San Bernardino County Probation Department, the entire venue, the 76 gas station across the street, the Arco gas station, Starbucks across the street. Oh, they're all group stalking. And you also know that because that evidence is already sitting on the record. The criminal conduct that Arco is engaging in when the fake sun is over my head, in the same manner. The same entity that's group stalking with impossible light activity inside of Starbucks. Fake sun over the Starbucks, the entity terrorizing me by helicopters at Starbucks. Starbucks is also group stalking with these demons that are pacing all around. The entity is engaging in this criminal pattern of conduct as one entity, acting with impunity, which is attributed to the entire state. Okay, the entity is doing so, and this is the document that is showing the ongoing maintenance, the maintenance of the elements of monitoring. This is what they're doing while they are on video, very foolishly. This is evidence that a federal judge is going to sentence them based on. This is speaking to what is providence. This is speaking to what is judgment. This is speaking to the Lord Jesus telling all of the secrets of the entity that serves Satan. All right. And also, not only are you going to be judged based on what is the criminal prosecution, and I'm talking to you by company, I'm talking to you by city, I'm talking to you by county, I'm talking to you by government position, politician, I'm talking to you by individual name, by address. I documented you by neighborhood. I documented all of you, and you will all be prosecuted. You are the state of California, and if you do not repent, not only are you going to be prosecuted, but you're going to burn in the depths of hell. The entities engaged in this pattern of conduct, and this criminal conduct is what I continuously capture on this very document. What I'm documenting right now, which is a part of this video, is the ongoing use of the hotel doors. This is a staple with regard to the demons who are group stalking all around. The demons that are group stalking with regard to knowledge about what a woman is doing inside of a hotel room, that's a sex offense. Keep criminal surveillance on behalf of the state, that's state surveillance. State surveillance is also sexually violent. It does not cease when my panties are down, when I'm in the bathroom, when I'm nude, when I'm engaged in personal private activity, which all of an entity is monitoring together. Okay, this is what the entity is doing with regard to the company name, which is also going to be relevant to the damages at Holiday Inn and IHG Hotel. They're engaged in domestic terrorism in the United States. Okay, and that's what you need to know about every other corrupt government actor who are not engaged in any constitutionally protected operation of any business. They're engaged in state surveillance, which is relevant to RICO charges as well, by the way. It is currently 2:49 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video with the maintenance of the light source that remains over my hotel window while demons, and you see the depths of impossible light while they're pacing in and out of their hotel rooms. There's no sun that's remaining over me while I'm living and working at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, which is also on the record. All right, it's 2:50 p.m. The entity's keeping the fake sun rising and setting at Alvarado Gardens. While I've gone to other locations, moving from Los Angeles, the entity's keeping the fake sun while I'm in Costa Mesa and Orange County. There's no sun that's remaining as a matter of documentation because it's remaining over the Best Western off on Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, California. That's not creating any sunlight ever. Also, it's not creating any sunlight while the light source remains over my window. That's not going to create what is sunlight that is necessarily, and this is not sunlight, it's engineered light. This is breaking down the malicious and unintelligent system of the demons who are group stalking by slamming hotel doors right now, and they're all going to federal prison. The entities engage in this pattern of conduct in a specific environment. This is engineered light speaking to a sex offense. This is a private space. The government shall, under no circumstances, maintain constructive presence. Group stalking you sounding sirens. Those are the sex offenders, Randy German and everybody else a part of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. The same ones who you saw group stalking in a helicopter. Terrorists, violent sex offenders, hostile to their exposure. For their inclination to engage in sexual violence, for their inclination to engage in what is violence amongst the public, while they're group stalking a woman who knows their condition and has the evidence to support it and their criminal conduct, which they're going to be prosecuted for. This is engineered light. That's not sunlight. The blinds are closed, first of all, so this isn't even going to exist at all. Second of all, the sun is over, for example, Woodside Senior Apartments. That's not over this window, and the light source being over this window is distinct from what is the engineered light that is necessarily at a downward trajectory, horizontally reaching into the depths. This is demonic. That's what this is. This is demonic. And it's also coexisting with what is the creation of my shadow above my head. Okay, this is the illumination of engineered light. Okay, and this is the light source that is speaking to the intentional engagement of activity creation. This is criminal monitoring by Holiday Inn. All right, this is the population that is monitoring a woman. This is not over the Holiday Inn outside of the window of Hesperia 9750 Key Point, the Holiday Inn Express and Suites. Hold on, let me open that back up. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites. This is not over the, let me brighten this up so you can see. This is not over the Alvarado Gardens apartments. It's in the same manner, but this is not the natural environment. That's the significance of capturing the scientific impossibility that this could be the sun. This is speaking to the intent of a population to group stalk you, keep you under surveillance. The sound of the traffic inside of this hotel room is as demonic and as impossible as not only the light source, but the placement of the engineered light. Now, the intentional engagement in that sex offense is shared by the people of the state. All right, the demons that are surrounding, the demons in rooms 429, 425, 424, all of these demons are group stalking in the path. The entity's keeping a fake sun literally over this hotel, which you also know is a matter of documentation, but I will go ahead and support that with evidence that will sit on the record. But the P.O.C. has already established the entity rises and sets the sun wherever it is that I remain. That's why it's here in violation of common sense, logic, nature, and science, that it would be over the Holiday Inn, directly over my window, while the entity is maintaining noise in the hallway, where engineered light, that is the shadow that's appearing on both walls, while demons are pacing in and out of their rooms and making noise in the hallway. The housekeepers are going to federal prison. Okay, the demons that are working in the restaurants are going to federal prison. The demons that are checking out the hotel rooms are going to federal prison. Ray, the maintenance supervisor who you saw group stalking by coming to my door, knocking on it while he was monitoring while my panties were down seconds earlier, he's going to federal prison, and so is everyone else. Impunity is documented while the ongoing maintenance of audible activity in the specific environment which Holiday Inn